Hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we're doing the fourth recipe from the Cinnamon Roll Murder. It is a Butterama cake with a brown butter icing. There is quite a lot to this cake. There's the cake, there's a sauce, and there is an icing. First thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 325. It says, Hannah's first note. Cassandra told Mother she got this cake recipe from her aunt. They made it in a bundt pan and called it Kentucky butter cake. So what you're going to need for the cake is 1 cup of softened butter, 2 sticks, 2 cups of white granulated sugar, 4 whole eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of buttermilk. It says if you don't have buttermilk on hand, you can use cream. The cake will taste a bit different, but it'll still be wonderful. Or you could just bake buttermilk with like a cup of milk and a tablespoon of vinegar. That is also something I know. For the sauce, you're going to want a cup of white sugar, a 1/4 cup of water. I'll just bet you could use Kentucky bourbon instead of the water here, but I haven't tried it yet. We are sticking with water. Half a cup of butter, 1 stick, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla. It says don't use a saucepan that's black or brown on the inside. You'll be using it again later when you make the frosting, and you need to be able to see when the butter you'll heat and it turns brown. You can also do this, that's melting. If you don't want to use the saucepan for this part, you can do it in the microwave, safe bowl for 90 seconds until the butter is melted. So far there's 3/4 pound of butter in this cake, and it added up, if you don't believe me, if you frost it with Great Graham Elsa's brown butter icing, it'll be only a 1/4 cup shy of a whole pound. And then for the icing, you're going to want a 1/4 cup of butter, half a stick, 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You could also use Kentucky bourbon, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream, and half a cup of chopped pecans or walnuts. So that being said, this probably is going to take a while. Definitely takes a lot of ingredients, but everything's laid out, so let's get started. These are all the things we're going to need for the cake, the sauce, and the frosting. So step 1 is preparing your 9 by 13 inch pan by spraying it with a non-stick spray. And then we are going to want, with an electric mixer, it's easier, beat the butter for a minute or 2, sprinkle in the white sugar, and let that beat for a minute. So let's get that started. All right, now that it's been a minute, we're going to sprinkle in the sugar. All right, we're going to give that a minute. All right, we're going to go back to mixing it 1 egg at a time. All right, now we're going to take the salt. The baking soda, baking powder, the baking soda, and the vanilla. We're going to add a cup of the flour. This, we're going to add half a cup of the buttermilk. Another cup of flour, the rest of the buttermilk, the last cup of flour. We're going to take our pan. Okay, so this is going to go in the oven for 50 minutes, and then we'll pull it out, let it hang out, and we'll make the butter sauce. Okay, so we are back. It is exactly 50 minutes later. The cake has just come out of the oven. It's very buttery inside, but it stabs through, coming out clean. So what we're gonna do is take our butter, our sugar, in the water. We're gonna leave the vanilla in the container. We're gonna need that when we take this off the heat. It just says to put this on a medium heat until the butter melts, but not to let it boil. Okay, so butter has melted. Literally just looks like pasta water almost. All right, we add our vanilla, and it says to do this carefully because it could sputter. Next thing we're gonna do is take a fork and jab holes into our cake. We want it to go all the way down to the bottom. Now it says to pour this over as evenly as you can. It says if you are using it to make the frosting, just let it sit there. As far as this, we're gonna let it sit and soak for 10 minutes, and then we're going to refrigerate it for at least 2 hours. So I will see y'all in about 2 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, so we're back. It has been 2 hours. We're gonna get the icing hooked up. So the first thing we're gonna do is brown the butter, which is simply taking the 1/4 cup, dumping it in the same pan we used earlier, and we're going to heat it over medium-high heat for about 5 minutes. It smells warm, it smells nutty. You can see the brown bits on the bottom. Now we want to stir in our 2 cups of powdered sugar. There is not enough liquid in here to stir in anything. Yeah, I think we're gonna need more than 2 tablespoons of cream to get this to come together. Because at the moment all I have is clumps and powdered sugar. So add in the vanilla extract. Again, that kind of just clumps in and doesn't really do anything. So we're gonna slowly add our 2 tablespoons of milk. Just gonna slowly start stirring it together. So this is what we have. Adding a splash at a time until we get something I can spread. Beauty of this recipe. Our nice ooey gooey cake. Been in the fridge for at least 2 hours. I think I could have made it a little bit looser. Lastly, we're going to sprinkle on our chopped nuts. This is our final product. So, you can definitely see where the sauce soaked into the cake. It's light, it's delicate, it's buttery. It tastes like a really good sugar cookie. I don't even like cake, and I think that's fantastic. So, A+. Next week, we are moving on to cardamom cuties. It's a good fall choice. I hope you all join us for next week's cute cuties. I hope you have a good one.